Hey, Craig here, Diggs Rod Shop, and welcome to the shop today. And again, I'm working on the 32 Ford. Looks like I'm a little biased with the old Coupe, but I like this car, I really do. And I'm trying to get it up to snuff so that when the springtime comes and I can, it's good to drive, I'm going to be driving it. One of the things that I got with this, with the Coupe, was the glass and the side glass here, but I didn't get the welt that needs to go up in here, the run channel. It wasn't there, and then there's a special piece that actually goes on this portion right here, and then there's a upper seal that goes all the way in here, which I've already installed this, but I'll show you what that looks like. With that said, I have the door handles, I have the glass, I am really ready to get this thing going. So maybe you can hear the furnace running or not, I don't know. Anyway, take that out, Lucas, if you can hear that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I ended up doing. Ended up having to take the window mechanism out of here. That's what I ended up doing. So let me go ahead and just get that out of there real quick. What a pain it was yesterday. Didn't know anything really about putting these 32s in there, this window glass. I didn't check out YouTube, what I should have, to see if there's a video out there. I still didn't do it, but if there isn't one, now there is. I took the windows uptown. When I got them, they were still in their track. I'll show you right here. It was still in its track. And so I took them uptown, and the glass guy, he went ahead and cut them and put them back in the track, and he also measured them so that they were correct. Well, when I started trying to put that in there yesterday, what a pain. There's just no way to get it in there with the glass. Just no way that was going to go. And, I don't like to force things. That's what breaks things also. So this is probably going to drop real quick here. Let me catch that. Okay, so there it is right there. Matter of fact, it's rolled up. I should have probably rolled it down to get it out of here, but it might. It will not. We'll put it in the down position because that's what it has to be anyway. This is a good time to clean it up and put a little grease on it also. That's the position that I actually wanted it in. Let's get this over here. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get some grease on this thing, because that's going to be a good thing. So you can kind of see where it rested. And I'm going to put a little bit of grease right in here. Okay, so what I ended up finding out yesterday, the best way to do this is to literally put this little jewel on right here. And so I did. You can see that right there. And I mean, how easy that really is. Man, was I fighting that thing. I fought it. Right there. The other thing I would tell you is once you get that in there, it's probably good to roll that back and forth a few times. Again, I want to get a little bit more grease in that. Now, back in the day, grease may not have been the thing to use. Something a little more, I don't know, a little more liquid. This thing is going to draw. Oops. There we go. I'm gonna wipe that off. That looks pretty good right there. Okay. So with that said, now I can slip that back up underneath there, and I'm going to drop the glass in from above. But before I do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this back run channel in, or that felt. I'm going to put that felt in there. Get my hands cleaned off. And I've already kind of cut those. I will tell you, the reason why that is because this one is going to have to peel open and get that glass in there. And then this one over here, well, actually this one goes there. So it's going to go like that. And the other one, I could actually slip down inside. So this one was a little bit more difficulty. I want to make sure it's literally in its track. Down here at the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. It's got a little bit of a little hook that goes into its own slot there. Same with this one right here. What I did with the other one yesterday, was I bent that down just a little bit. Just enough you can see that, so when it drops in the slot, when this one gets there, same with this one right here. I'm gonna look back. Once you get that, the garnish molding on there, that's never going to go anywhere anyway. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. Easy there on the door, Craig. And right now, I'm getting this car so that it actually can go cruising just a little bit. It's not a show car by any means. You know, I hear a lot of comments out there that I need to chop the top, and that's just never going to happen with this car. Not in my possession, I can tell you that. There's so many out there that are already chopped, you know, and I think if you want to chop top, do a fiberglass car, you know. They look cool, I like them. But the older I get, the more I begin to realize there isn't very many of these pure old Fords around, you know, even the 33s and 34s. I think if you find one like this, it's still all Henry steel, I'm going to keep it that way. I think there's more people out there with a greater appreciation for the unchopped than there is the chopped. Besides that, you know, I'm not a big fan of running a small block Chevy in this Ford at all. Nothing against Chevrolet, I like Chevrolet. But I think that if you're going to run a Ford car, you want to run a Ford engine in it. You run a Chevrolet in it. Now I would say, I do have a 331 Cadillac engine in there that I would have to talk to the gentleman. We bought that parts car. And it's got a 331 Cadillac. V8. You know, those are about 250 horse from the factory. And the transmission in it is good. It's an automatic. I would put that in this thing. I would. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, most guys are doing these small block Chevrolets in these. Okay, the other thing I would tell you is that rail better clean the hand off before I start messing with that thing. There we go. There you go. Okay, so that what do you want to call that? That bottom rail where the steering or the window mechanism is, that's got to kind of be balanced also for that glass. And with that said, I wanted to, this I got to pull out. I got to drop that back down in there, and that glass needs to set so that it's, you know, I think it's equal amounts on that. So with that said, let me go get the glass. I'm going to wash my hands real quick while I'm messing with that glass. Okay. I am back. So I am going to go ahead. Okay. See, this is the tricky part. It was tricky yesterday. Right there. Okay. We'll shut the cameras off just for a little bit, because it's breakfast time. Oh, there's Digger, by the way. Come here. Come up here, Digger. My doggy. Yes. Oh. Isn't that just the cutest little dog? You like your daddy? Yes, you do. Look at the camera. Right up here. Look at the camera. I bet I can get you to look at the camera. What's this? Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, a little snacker right there. That's Digger. There you go. We'll play. Okay, like I said before, you want to get that in the channel, so you want to get it running up and down and get it true. With that said, I'm going to try to fit the other one, and again, it has the same little hook on the end of it right there, and it also has one of these on the end of it here. So at this point, I'm going to try to feed that old thing down in there. That's a little kind of a hassle too. And right there, I had to trim that foam piece that I put in there. I had to trim that back so that that run channel runs right straight up into there. That is. Let me see if I can get that one. I better get my... I see what you did. You just took off with that, didn't you? Tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank that thing up. Right there. Now I can get in there. Oop, right there too. Awesome. I might want to bend that tab down just a little bit also. There it is, right there. That actually fits in there pretty tight in that channel that clamps in. This one over here literally is a screw in there that's supposed to go all the way through, but I'm able to get that little, I don't know, tab bent up underneath, and that's what actually I used to hold that in there. So bingo, there's that little process right there. Now let me go over and that piece of wood. That has to go in here now. You'll also notice that I don't have that clamped in the run channel. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and bring this thing down so that you can see it right there. And I can't just push on that and make that work. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Let me get my clamps. Digger, listen, we're not going to play 101 picking up the pieces here with you today. Quit that. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get it in the middle right there. Hopefully you're seeing that on the camera. You want to just kind of start putting a little, no, we're not doing that. Put that. A little pressure right there. And I'm going to go ahead, and you got to be careful right here. I can tell you that. Matter of fact, I think I might take that rubber pad off of that. That'll be something Digger takes off with. Actually, let's crank that window up a little bit. Right there, so I can get in there. There we go. That's much better. Slow process. You can just kind of, if I push, there we go. That just dropped right in there. You can see how that one just loosened up and just dropped right down in there. That was awesome. I can see by the level of the window that I need to move over just a little bit. So I think I'm going to bring that down. Oh, it's going to be tough. Let me come back up again. See if I can get in there. There we go. There. You can kind of see that, yeah, and I'm looking right in there, and I can see that it's dropped in too, and then the glass is level now. I'm going to give this one more squeeze. Yep, that's there. Let's put that there. Let's see if she runs up and down now. I'm going to push in on it a little bit. Yeah, and it hits the top real nice. She goes right in the old glass up there. That's awesome. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to keep a little pressure on that, because the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get that piece of wood put in there. I will tell you guys too, I notched that out just a little bit. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Well, that card's full too. Well, I'm sure you can see it on this one right here, and I think we'll just finish up with this camera right here. I went ahead and drilled those out, countersunk them, notched it right there, because that garnish molding comes just around there just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and set those in there. I made those. Let's see, there's that one. And there's that one. And the Phillips. Nice. Okay, I'll show you what I'm going to do there in a minute. However, one thing that I did do that is not stock factory, but it's going to be better. The old saying is, you ain't cool if your chrome don't shine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, instead of putting that rubber pad right there, I'm going to go ahead and put a window felt there. That again, it's not factory, but it's going to help. Keeping a little bit of the weather out, not a lot. If I get caught in the rain. I'm putting that on there with 3M double back tape. That stuff holds like iron, I'm telling you. Bingo. Oh, that looks so much nicer out there. Maybe you can see that. I'll change that out a little bit. Okay, last piece, garnish molding. Is that right? I think so. I'll probably retorque all these. I'll probably put a little bit of paint on them so that that seals them up. That's about it. Let's get that garnish molding. Garnish molding, tip it in. You know, I mentioned Vance Alexander. And I hope I'm not missing anything, Vance. He's got a 32 Victoria, which is a 3 window. This has already got a little rubber pad on it here. I'm not going to put one on that. But anyway, bingo. There's that right there. Now, that's up pretty decent. I'm going to pull these screws in here. I'll show you. This is a barrel screw right there. And that takes, let me just swap it out here. So this side of it's stainless steel, this side of it's a trim side of it here. So I'm going to literally just drop it down in there. Let's see how easy that is. It was kind of a pain. Anyway, going back to Vance. I hope I'm doing all this right. There's another one right there. I might be short one of these. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of get a couple of them in there. Let's see, there's another one right there. Well, I'm telling you what, this driver's side went so much easier. Man. There's that, and that. Okay, what I can do now, let's just run that up and down. Oh yeah. Woo! Right into its spot. That's nice. Very, very nice. I'm gonna roll that down just a hair. I still have the original flat screws. They're a little rugged. I think I'll just go ahead and get new ones for that too. But for now, that's going to get me by. I'm just going to snug that a little bit because I think I'm going to come back here. I think it's a little more important. Boy, I can't see very good anymore. Gotta have my readers on, that's for sure. Wouldn't hurt if I had my a little snug right there. That's all I'm gonna do. I didn't check to see if there was a gasket or something, seal for the garnish molding on this inside. I don't think so because it goes up against the felt there, goes up against the felt back here. But I'll find out. Just a little bit right there. Now, I'll run one of those screws in. How about we run a few more of those in? Something I will tell you guys also, which this had it on it, you take these screws, be careful Craig, you take these screws out enough times it loosens up that wood in there. I do like them all running the same. There we go, right there. But you can always take a piece of, and I keep a little bit of paint stick with me, and I can trim that down, stuff it down in that hole, and then it'll tighten that hole up for you too. Get back, digger. Oh, dig 'em. Let's see, where was I? All right, the next thing, I'm gonna push in on this just, it doesn't really need it. Next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead, that wood that I put in there, I'm gonna take it in on an angle. These will go straight in. Is it snowing down there, digger? All right. I am going to put Phillips in this one right here, just because I want new in it. Again, I think they make the original slotted screws, and I will put those in when I get them. I wasn't prepared for that. There's the last of the vertical one right there. And that just pushes up against that felt too, and I mean it just makes this super, super nice. Digger, listen, we don't run off with parts. Okay, Dad needs those. There we go. All right, I'm going to test it. Let's see, let's pull that sticker off. Ooh. Right up into that seal too. Nice. That just, wow, went together nicely. You know what I'm going to do? One more thing. By the way, I have my own glass cleaner. It's a product that I connected with a gentleman that he actually makes, but he allows me to put my label on it. And I love this stuff. You'll see why here in a second. I mean, streak free. Look at that. Woo! This is awesome. I'm telling you, I'm going to pop you down off of here. This is awesome. And I'm going to tell you, I got frustrated yesterday with that video I was doing. That one was a pain. And what I didn't realize was the part that you had to drop that channel out of there and drop the mechanism out of it too. So that was a pain. This is Craig, Diggs Rod Shop. There's Digger. Say hi, Digger. Anyway, like and subscribe, guys. I'll keep bringing you these videos, and definitely the update and upgrade on this 32 Ford. Appreciate you. Leave a comment. I'll get back to you if I can. Thanks, and have a great day. Signing out.